Hi guys, I'm Jen. Welcome to Be Set Free. I'm going to try to do a video about something that I haven't attempted to explain out loud before. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so when we have been in abuse and neglect, we do this thing where we push ourselves aside. Maybe you've heard me talk about that part before. In order to stay in an abusive and neglectful relationship, in order to endure that, especially long term, we have to separate from ourselves. We have to separate from who we are. We have to separate from our likes and our dislikes, our feelings about things, our opinions, our self-respect. We have to separate from it. Otherwise, we can't stay in it. If we don't separate from ourselves, then basically the relationship is over, because it can only work if we separate from ourselves. Now, this can happen since childhood, okay? Because what happens is the pain becomes so real and big being in abusive, neglectful relationship or situations. And when we're a child, we're helpless and we're powerless to our abusers, to the people who are supposed to be taking care of us. We actually have no voice. And the people who are supposed to have a voice for us are those people who are taking care of us. And when they're abusing us and neglecting us and acting scary around us, we definitely have no voice. They're not a voice for us, and we don't even have a voice. So what happens is we learn how to separate from ourselves in order to live in that and function and not lose our minds, and to not be so extremely scared that, I don't know, we find a way to survive, right? So we separate within ourselves. And it's kind of like, this is the part that might be hard for me to explain. And I welcome your comments to help explain this. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like we're a person with a body, and inside of us is our spirit. And it's almost like we come out of our body so that we don't have to feel all that trauma. Because if we were inside our body feeling that trauma, we wouldn't be able to handle it. So as a coping mechanism, we kind of come out of our body. I've heard this explained in New Age practices with people who talk about, like, they don't talk about God and Jesus Christ, but they talk about like universal energy and stuff like that. Like, they have a sense of God, but they don't know God as Jesus Christ and stuff like that. But they are onto something. Because I've felt this happen within me. I've had times in the past where I knew it happened because I had started to come back into my body. And it was just too much for me, and I couldn't handle it. It was like, it's kind of like when you push your feelings aside and you don't process your emotions, you're not a whole integrated person. That's part of this out-of-body experience. It's like too painful for you to be whole and integrated, because you have so much to process, right? So what we do over time, as we start to heal, we have to get out of the abuse. We have to get to a safe place, right? And then what we're left with is us. And what we're left with is processing how we feel, processing our emotions. And that can be very, very overwhelming. It can feel like if I feel these emotions are going to take me over, so we push them away, we might start to feel the anguish. We might start to feel the sadness. We might start to feel the fear. We might start to feel the anger, right? And we get scared and we let it come in a bit at when we first start healing, and then we get scared like it's going to overwhelm us and take us over, and we push it away. And this is where it can really be helpful to have a community like these YouTube videos of people like myself and other people who have been through this healing of emotions process. As you process your emotions, you may feel like you're coming back into yourself as you start making space for yourself, as you start acknowledging yourself, as you start being brave and realizing that emotions are not going to kill you, and that you're in control how much you want to feel, how long you want to feel it, that you can process your emotions and put a time limit on it and then stop. Sometimes we feel like we don't know how to stop, right? If we let all that grief in, we feel like we're not going to be able to stop it. Like we're not going to be able to stop crying. We're not going to be able to stop feeling devastated. We're not going to get out of the depression. But what I learned was that you can actually put a time limit on it. And so how you stop it, how you stop the feelings after, let's say you're going to give yourself 15 minutes to really feel these heavy, intense feelings. At 15 minutes, you set an alarm, and then you have a plan, okay? You have a plan that at 15 minutes when the alarm goes off, I'm going for a walk. At 15 minutes when the alarm goes off, I am going to take a shower, put on music, clean my house, and you have a set plan. And so what happens is, as you go after 15 minutes to go do these things, you'll realize that, wow, actually, I'm in control. I can stop this. And then as the next wave of emotions comes, you remember, wow, okay, I'm going to allow this wave of emotions to come because I remembered I was able to get out of it before. Does that make sense? So as we process these emotions, we get more in touch with who we are. We are very kind to ourselves. We do not judge ourselves when we're processing emotions. We do not get down on ourselves for being sad. We parent ourselves. We tell ourselves that we notice that we're feeling sad and it's okay, and that we've been through a lot, and it makes sense that we feel this way. We do not beat ourselves up about the way we are feeling. We accept ourselves. I think some people call that radical acceptance. We totally accept us and we love ourselves, okay? As you do this process, it becomes natural. It becomes a way that you live your life. It becomes less of a scheduled thing and more of an integrated thing that you just do as life comes at you, okay? That's kind of like down the road. I was noticing today that this afternoon I was feeling, gosh, I feel like I kind of queasy, like I want to throw up, like what is going on? And I realized that for the first time, maybe in my whole entire life, I feel like I am finally full inside myself. I don't feel like my spirit part of me is detached from me and outside because it's too painful to be in. I feel like I am a whole person. And it's intense, you know, and it feels so good to be a whole person. But it's also, if you've never felt like a whole person before, to feel like a whole person it feels powerful, it feels strong, it feels amazing, but it also feels really real. And And there's a lot of feeling, right? So I wanted to introduce this idea to you. And those of you who know what I'm talking about, can you explain more in the comments as to that transition from being outside of yourself and separate and not able to fully integrate into when you were able to actually come into yourself and become a whole person and that process? Can you talk about that? Oh, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, part of becoming a whole person is part of the big process of it is being able to accept yourself, right? Accept your body. Accept your idiosyncrasies. Accept your imperfections. Being able to accept the parts about you that you want to improve, right? It goes from not liking parts about yourself to accepting those parts about yourself and wanting to make growth in those areas and loving the parts that before you hated about yourself. My last part of this, I believe, was before I was able to fully come into myself, was my body. I've always hated my body. I've always felt repulsive. I've always felt unattractive. I've felt like everybody else can be imperfect. Everybody else can be whatever weight they want to be. But for me, that I'm not allowed and that I have to be perfect. Otherwise, I'm not accepted. Right? And so I've never accepted myself because I can never be perfect. And I've always seen my body as if I could see myself through other people's eyes, I would think, well, you're not, and through men's eyes, let's say, I'm not skinny enough for guys who like skinny girls to like me, and I'm not overweight enough for guys who like big girls to like me. And I'm just me, and there's nobody here that would actually like me. And what I realized was it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people like. I need to love myself. I am who God made me to be. And I have a natural weight about me, and that's who I am. And that if it doesn't matter what other people think. It matters what I think about me. And I just started loving myself. I just started like eating because I was hungry, and not beat myself up because I'm eating food. And I know how that affects my body. Like, I'm a human. I deserve to exist. And I need to eat food and not stress about it, right? I need to be able to have a piece of pie and not beat myself up about it. Like, I just need to be able to exist in this life. And as I finally conquered recently, just accepting myself and realizing that if somebody judges me because of the way I look, they're superficial. And, they don't know me. And maybe if they got to know me, they still wouldn't like me, but that's okay because I'm okay with me, right? So I think as I integrated that last part about me, I was able to finally just like become a whole person finally. And yeah, I just want to introduce these ideas to you and talk about it more. So that's my video for today. And like I said, please comment. Please share your experiences. Please share if you feel like, yeah, I feel like I am out of my body, but I never really understood it before. It will help all of us understand more. We all need to become whole people, and we need to be able to find a home within ourselves. We need to be able to integrate and really love ourselves and accept ourselves. Okay, so you can reach out to me at besetfreefromabuse@gmail.com, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.